Today is actually very well timed. On the day of recording, Congress today is discussing the implications of AI.
Ooh.
Yes.
What were they saying? What were some of the implications they were talking about?
I don't know. That's all I heard is that they're going into conversations. But it's kind of like, it's the idea of like, they are working on setting up the ground rules for like, okay, what the fuck are we going to do about AI? Because it's here. There's no hiding from it.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in that conversation.
Totally.
Because like, where do you set the limits?
Yeah. They had in the CEO of OpenAI to like be a part of that conversation, who is OpenAI is like the company behind ChatGPT and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, even he was saying like, you know, that he's frightened of the potential of AI.
Why the fuck you do it?
Well, because it's so fun.
Because it's awesome.
Guys, we watched Jurassic Park. Did no one pay attention?
Yeah.
We asked whether or not we could instead of whether or not we should. Jesus Christ. Now we're going to be out of a job. That's going to suck dong.
Yeah, dude. AI is it's scary. I mean,
It is.
It's crazy what it is doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's going to take away basically all creative fields.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's what it feels like.
I feel like and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on this and maybe I'm sounding a little too naive. I feel like it just ends up being like artists using AI to create art.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tool.
Yeah.
Which definitely true. It opens up the floodgates a lot. It feels like you no longer need skill. You just need creativity to like.
Which is great for
Yes.
people like me
But like
who have no skill but have...
What are you talking about? You have skill.
Okay, we're not doing this.
Which, yeah,
But you know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
it opens it up completely. And I mean, so that's what's scary to like people who think that they have skill and like have worked towards, you know, honing themselves to now have the floodgates opened to the world.
So this isn't me like fully advocating for AI because I also think it's very scary. But I do want to kind of like throw the question out of like, do you feel like it's similar when DSLRs became capable of recording video and like people saying that like, because like it's not like a true camera, because it's like not like a film camera, it's going to ruin like media and like films or whatever. But in reality, it just became more accessible for those artists and became like cheaper in a way, you know, like so like I guess I'm saying is like sure, like people can use AI and like pass it off as their own creation or whatever and whatever. But like, what if like an artist is able to expand that even more and using like a different set of skills to create art using AI as a tool, not as like the final product?
Yeah, I mean, I totally think that's valid. I mean, it's really just a new era of art that is being created with a new tool. But here's like what I think we should really be talking about is that now our cameras can think.
Right. I was going to say the problem with AI is much bigger than creatives.
Yes.
Even though they're making it all about them, it's a much bigger problem than
Much bigger.
Well, like there was already like the problem of like deep fakes and like celebrities getting their face put on porn, and like that already has become like a big issue.
Yeah, so there's fraud.
Yeah.
I mean, people are getting scammed with like voices of their family saying like,
I'm getting killed, send $5,000.
yeah, truly, like, and it sounds like your daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fucked up. I mean, luckily it's, I don't know, it feels very contained right now, AI, but I feel like so too it did in her.
And how quickly they became something other.
Yeah. So I can't imagine that being more than 6 months.
Right.
I don't know why I keep throwing 6 months out there, but
What's happening in 6 months?
I don't know.
Dude, it's like, it's hard to perceive like ChatGPT as being a single entity, but it must be,
Right.
you know?
ChatGPT for president.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a little scary.
It's a little scary.
It's a little exciting. So let's continue that conversation with today's movie review of Her.
So today we'll be reviewing the movie Her. Her was made in 2013. A sensitive and soulful man earns a living by writing personal letters for other people. Left heartbroken after his marriage ends, Theodore, Walking Phoenix, becomes fascinated with a new operating system which reportedly develops into an intuitive and unique entity in its own right. He starts the program and meets Samantha, Scarlett Johansson, whose bright voice reveals a sensitive, playful personality. Though friends initially, the relationship soon deepens into love.
And it's written and directed by Spike Jonze.
Yes, the same guy who created the Jackass series, which
God.
They couldn't
loves.
be more different.
Yeah.
You know what's wild? It's been a while since you talked about Jackass.
I know.
Is it?
Don't worry, I'm still thinking about Johnny Knoxville every single day of my life.
God bless.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's what's keeping him alive.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we just watched that movie Saturday. This was Maddie and Swain's first time viewing it.
It was.
It was good. It was good. All right. You know what? Well,
Yeah. You'll speak for us?
thank you.
They loved it.
Thanks for our review.
Yeah, it was good.
Bye.
Moving on.
No, we're done.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive in and talk with it. Talk about it today with you guys. It was a part of our dinner theater series. We made pizza because he ordered one slice of cheese.
He ordered one slice of cheese.
Which I want to say, we made like little mini personal pizzas, and throwing this out as a PSA, buy some pita flatbread and some marinara and some cheese and some toppings, and you can make some damn good oven baked personal pizzas. Dude, that was the shit.
That was super good.
I want to do that again soon.
Do it. I dare you.
I will. Fucking try me.
Before we get started, can you guys guess what Her got on Rotten Tomatoes?
Are we doing the critic score and the public
Yes.
audience score? I'm gonna guess the critic score
We'll do critic first, and then we'll do audience.
96.
For critic,
Yes.
That's what I was going to say.
Really? Wow. How'd we do?
close. It was a 94%.
Goddamn. Yep, I'll take that.
Audience score now.
Like 89?
I was gonna guess 90.
82%.
Yeah.
That's fair. It was definitely more well done than it was enjoyable.
There's 12% of people who don't have taste.
Yeah.
That's okay.
12% difference. Yeah, no, that's fair. That does make sense. Well, let's find out how it scores on the room tone scale.
Let's review the movie Her. My name's Austin Rapeza, and I think that Her is going to get a room tone score of 55.
My name is Maddie, and I think that Her is going to get 50 out of 60 because you're here.
All right.
My name is Austin Swain, and I think that Her is going to score 52 out of 60. For those who don't know, we score our movies on a rubric. Each of us allowed 5 points in each category, and the categories are the cinematography, which encompasses the camera work, visuals, set design, costume design, the actors and the portrayal, and the actual characters within the film.
The character progression.
Yes. The story, which is pretty self-explanatory. Just the way that it's written and the way that it makes you feel. And then the final category is just the overall watchability. You know, how much did we actually enjoy this? Would we recommend it? Do we want to watch it again? All of that with 5 points from each of us in each category means a 15-point total in each category, bringing us to a total score out of 60. Cinematography.
So the cinematography in her is outstanding. Is what the least I could say about it.
Yeah.
Everything is well directed, well shot. The light is absolutely gorgeous. The color palette, like when you hear the movie Her, you can visualize the color. Like the first thing I think about is that nice
Pink.
Pale.
No. The first thing I think about is that pastel red, like that he wears on his.
So pink.
I mean, sure.
Right? Sorry.
I mean, pastel red and pastel pink are different.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, pastel red.
Which is brought all the way into the set design. I mean, which of course is involved with the set design, like his outfit to his like area at work with all the like different panes of colored glass is just so absolutely beautiful. It was flawless camera work and just such purposeful composition. I mean, so I think like 3 or 4 different times within the movie, I couldn't help but say, like, what a beautiful shot.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
I remember, just so many occurrences of that.
They also did really well too with like using the depth of field to tell their story. Like similar to kind of what we talked about in like our short film. Using like a strong, a more shallow depth of field during like the horror scenes, and then like a little bit more wider in the comedy scenes. I feel like they did that with like this character when it just came to like him being able to connect. I think it was done really well. I think just Spike Jonze, like I just want to be a fly on the wall in that like writer's room. Like I want to hear what like they have to say and like how they plan that out.
Right. Yeah, it'd be fun to watch it with commentary. Which is something I've very rarely done.
Really?
Yeah. I want to get into that more.
It's really nice. A lot of the Criterion collections, majority of them come with commentary.
Right on.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson. I listened to the Fantastic Mr. Fox one with directed by Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson was just going to town talking.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just talking about like the ins and outs of it. It was a fun time.
Yeah, that's so fun. Maddie, what do you think?
I think I give it a 5. And that's all I need to say, because if it deserving a 5 obviously proves that it's very well shot.
I mean, I totally agree. Like,
Yeah.
It was just flawless and beautiful. 5.
5.
Perfect score for cinematography. Let's see if we can keep it going for the characters.
Absolutely not. So there's really only like 3 characters. There's Theodore Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
There's Samantha Scarlett Johansson and Amy Adams, which is a fucking
Nightmare.
stupid thing for people to do. Just get a different actress or name the character something different.
Well, that's
Stupid.
confusing. Giving them a new name.
So one thing I really loved is how they were able to bring out like the chemistry between Theodore and Catherine in those like flashbacks, because you don't really like hear much of like their conversation. You don't really like grow with them. You just get like little glimpses of what he remembers, and yet you can sense the love, within those like short few scenes, and you can really understand why Theodore doesn't want to like leave that,
Yeah.
like
totally.
like that was so powerful. Just those like little glimpses. He kind of starts in the middle of his journey. He's in the middle of a divorce. He's signing the papers, or he's still signing the papers. He's hesitant about it, and so like you don't get the context of like that relationship. You just know that he's going through a divorce,
Right. You kind of see like why it ended. I mean, I don't know. He's a very interesting choice for a main character, because he's kind of a creep.
You think so? I think it's charming.
I think he's great.
I think he's sweet, and I think he's charming, and I think that he has a good heart, but I think that he is, I don't know, I get like selfish vibes from him, and
That's
like
fair.
definitely socially disconnected. And so when you bring together selfish and socially disconnected, you kind of get creepy.
That's valid. That's
I
valid.
feel towards him how I think they want you to feel towards Barry.
Sure.
Can you elaborate that?
Like, I'm a simp for Bill Hader and would obviously, but so I love Barry the character, but
Yeah.
like Bill Hader always talks about like Barry is a fucking awful human being. Like,
I see what you're saying.
he's super creepy, he's super violent, he blah 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 blah, and I feel like I don't see that because I'm in love with him,
Yeah.
but then like this guy has all of those same attributes and like rubs me the wrong way.
Right.
You know what? That's very fair. Robert Pattinson, just as another example, Robert Pattinson talked about the Batman in that light, where like everyone, would talk to him and say like, "Oh my gosh, like Batman's such a badass. He's so cool," and he's like, "No, he's actually really fucking creepy."
Right.
Like
yeah.
if there was a man who was doing that shit, people would genuinely be afraid. Like I don't
Right.
think there'd be anyone who's like
Right.
cheering him on or
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like we have like protagonist blinders.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think he's a really interesting choice as a main character, especially because when you think about it, this is Samantha's story. Well, it's the story of AI. It's the story of like this birth of technology. And so in general terms, to generalize, it's a story about Samantha, who's his AI.
I totally disagree.
I
Ooh.
sort of disagree with that too.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it's more of like I think it's more Theodore's story, and I think Samantha has her own story within there,
Sure.
or like her own journey that's like separate from Theodore. But I think this is just like a way for Theodore to grow, to understand. A video essay that I watched explained it best, separating his wants versus his needs. He wants this like idealistic relationship where they're always happy and everything is good and great, but like what comes with that is like working through things and like learning how to like deal with hardship. Like in the flashback scenes, you got a little bit of both, of not just like the sweet but the sour that you saw where like things were like going wrong, and a lot of the times like Theodore was like distant and like wouldn't express himself.
Right.
But now with like Samantha, where like he has to actively express himself because there's no way to do it
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
He's learning to get through this hardship, like towards the end of the movie where he realizes he has to let Samantha go, not because it's hard to be with her, but just because like it's destined to fail. What he needs is a physical relationship, not physical in the sense of like sex, but like
Yeah.
a person he could
Connect with.
on a different level than compared to Samantha. And it's like letting go of that love. So I do think it's Theodore's story.
It's a really good point. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense, especially with the way that it ends with him realizing, how to live happily and how to like go for what he wants and communicate that. Yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah. Good call. So how do you guys score it for characters?
I give it a 5. I feel like everyone had depth. Everyone felt real in a sense that like they're living in this dystopia world. I felt like I believed everyone was meant to be there, and I feel like they have been in that world. They have been inhabiting that world for years, and so like I think they were all really engaging and very three-dimensional.
Yeah.
I give it a 5.
I agree with all of that. I think I'd give it a 4 though, just because of like likability. And despite saying there were only like 3 characters, there were actually a lot more characters. And I feel like we could have just not had any of them. Like, we could have just had those 3, and that would have been enough.
Sure.
Like, Chris Pratt didn't need to be there. Amy Adams didn't really need to be there.
I would disagree on that one. Amy Adams helps him reflect. She's kind of a sense of like, not mentorship, but like
realism.
Kind of not a voice of reason either, because she also encourages like the love affair with Samantha.
Right.
So I guess just someone to bounce back to either validate his feelings or causes him to reflect and change course.
Well, I give it a 4 because I don't like him. Then
That's fair.
and because I don't think it deserves a 5 for its characters, even though they're well written. I think they're better written than they are good characters.
You have expressed like after the movie that you would rather read the movie than actually like watch it. I think that's a very like interesting like perspective.
Yeah, I think the world and the dynamics are way more interesting than that movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Maybe we can dive into that for the story.
Right.
Let me see if I can think of come up with something that you guys haven't already said, because I agree. I mean, all the characters feel very real. And with that, I think that there is definitely that aspect of like unlikability, because I was not crazy about Theodore. Like, I don't really think I would want to hang out with him much. In terms of like, I think they did it well with the characters of like having those kind of 3 main, but I do like having like Chris Pratt and his girlfriend or whoever, as like that example of, I don't remember. I feel like they kind of like represented like a toxic couple of like for him to compare him and Samantha to. Like, it was like, yeah, human couples can work, but I don't know. I feel like I remember when they like double dated that him and Samantha felt closer than the other couple.
I think what was meant to happen in that regard was to, and I don't know, I could be wrong on that. This is my guess as good as yours.
Yeah.
I feel like Chris Pratt and like his girlfriend were supposed to be an example of like what he doesn't have in comparison to when he's with Samantha, because like, you know, like they were like not lovey-dovey, but like they were like cuddling with each other and holding each other, this and that, and like Theodore was alone, you know.
Yeah,
they even like framed it in like the composition where like Chris Pratt and his girlfriend were always in a 2-shot.
Oh,
and
sure.
Theodore was always in a single.
Yeah,
and so like it was just like that like yearning for something more.
I see that.
Personally, that's what I picked up.
I see that. I think the one thing I recollect is I just remember like Chris Pratt's character just like saying something like off, and then like trying to like dig himself back out of that relationship, or like out of like his weird comment. So that, I think that's just the only thing that stuck out to me. But yeah, honestly, like I am struggling to find a fault in the characters. I think they're well written. I think it's well balanced. I'm gonna give it a 5.
You just don't like them as well, or like.
Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't want to hang out with most of them.
That's fair.
But they tell a great story.
They do.
Speaking of story.
Oh, snap, crackle, pop. He does it again.
Look at that fucking segue, bitches.
That's a segue, motherfucker.
Yeah. Ran out of gas. Or battery.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the story. Kind of a tearjerker.
Yeah, my tears were jerked. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, I was not ready for the story to be as sad as it was.
It was a very sad.
I thought it was going to be like a rom-com.
Very sad and horny story. I think we all know my opinion. I really enjoy the story. I felt like it was... it had depth. It had layers. And I thought it was unique. If someone would have pitched to me prior to... I guess I was like, what? 15.
Yeah.
A movie about an AI two people falling in love, one of them's an AI, and just one person talking the whole time, I would have found it really hard to like work, you know, or for me to feel like I'd be interested in that.
Yeah.
But even 13-year-old me was not 13-year-old, even 17-year-old me was interested in that movie.
Yeah.
See, I kind of feel differently. I think that it's at its core a very like kind of boring, like simple concept. Like, yeah, falling in love with your AI feels, I guess, very
Straightforward.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, like obvious or just kind of cliche maybe. And I've
Do you think even with like the time, just like in considerate, like in like thought, like in 2013, do you think that would have been like a out there concept, or do you think that would have still been like, yeah, no, that makes sense?
yeah, no, I just yeah.
Well, because I mean, when did we get like Ex Machina?
Ex Machina was like 2016.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky to like look back in time. You know, I didn't see this movie until 2023 when AI was hip and happening. But I do. I mean, I do perceive the story to be straightforward. I mean, it's a love story. It's kind of it's forbidden and it's distant, but it's a love story. And I think it kind of thrives on its simplicity, because then you get to connect with the characters and you get to enjoy the just filmmaking of it, without something like Tenet, where you're like constantly trying to fucking figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I very much preferred this experience.
I still haven't figured out what's going on in Tenet.
No, I still don't know. So all that being said, I mean, I think the movie thrives on its simple story for all of those reasons. I don't know what I'm gonna give it.
I think just one more point. I do find it very interesting, because now that you say that, Maddie, you're right. Like the story has been kind of like told before. I think it's the story of like someone falling in love with the manic pixie dream girl. You know that character trope?
Right.
I feel like Samantha was that in this regard, and then reality hit of, oh wait, she's more than just what I want her to be.
Yes. Right.
So it reminds me of like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe that just made me more fond of the movie. So personally, I think probably not surprising, I'm going to get the story a 5.
See, that's why I guessed it was going to be higher, because I knew you were going to give it 5s for everything. Story,
Yeah.
like a fucking 4, I guess. See, the problem with shit like this is it's like I'm never ever going to watch this movie again, and I feel
like you can put that into consideration, because I feel like with stories that you really enjoyed, like you personally, you watch them over and over again. Like Hannibal, you fucking love Hannibal. You've watched the series how many times?
I don't know.
Like 5 or 6?
But that's not the point. The point is I don't like that I'm giving it such good scores, because it's not anything that is... Nothing blew my mind about it, but it was well done. So it's like, fine, I guess you get a fucking 4.
It's fair.
That's how I feel about the whole movie.
Yeah.
Where I was like, yeah, I mean, it was great. I don't have any other lasting impression of it besides that, yeah, it was very well done.
Well, maybe that'll be reflected in your watchability score.
Yeah.
It sure as hell will be.
We wait with bated breath. For my story score, I think I will also give it a 4. I was kind of teetering between 3 and 4 just because it is so simple. I think there was one too many sex scenes. I don't know where that lines up.
The sex scene was too much.
Guy! No, I'm playing.
It was sad, but it didn't make me cry.
Oh my gosh, Kirsten. The whole movie, not
the sex scene.
Yeah.
I'm like, the thing with Kirsten Wiig didn't make you cry, because that made me cry.
Maybe. Oh my god.
Grab the dead cat. What?
I'm strangling you with a dead cat.
I'm a filmmaker. Just grab the dead cat.
Right.
There we go.
A little fun fact for you.
Yeah.
That was all I could think of.
What's filmmaking?
I was like, is she fucking talking about like a dead cat?
Oh, really? No way. I did not think of that. How different.
So now let's go to overall watchability. What do you guys think?
I definitely had a good time watching it. I think there were elements of it that were funny. I mean, it was just absolutely gorgeous, which just adds to me enjoying watching it. Definitely something that I would recommend to people who haven't seen it, because I do think that it's unique and masterful. But I feel like I'm not in a hurry to watch it again. Although I think I will.
That's valid. That's fair.
Yeah. I think people should at least watch it once. But yeah, I don't think I ever really have a need to watch it again.
I've watched it many times, and it's one of those movies that, I don't know, do kind of like stay near to my heart, because I think it was like the first piece of, it's gonna sound douchey to say, like artsy film that I really enjoyed.
For sure.
Like when I first started exploring like my palette of like movies, and yeah, I think that's why it stuck with me.
Look at that.
So I give it a 5.
A perfect score from Austin. Hell yeah.
And I will admit, I do have bias.
That's fair. I mean, nostalgia plays a big role. I think for all the reasons that I said, I will give it a 4.
I think for all the reasons I said, I'm going to give it a 2.
Gasp.
For a grand total of...
So, at the beginning of this episode, Maddie guessed a score of 50 out of 60. I guessed a score of 52. And Austin guessed a score of 55. The closest by 1 point was me.
Nice.
53 out of 60.
You guessed 52?
Yes.
Wow, okay. Bing, 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 bing. Nice. Austin is the winner.
And her is certifiably toned. Oh, yeah.
That bitch got 6-pack. Well, thanks for listening, guys. That was our review on the movie Her. Like we said before, it is certifiedly toned. Got a 53 out of 60. So we recommend it. Go check it out. Directed by Spike Jonze, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson.
I was going to say, you can't watch it anywhere. You can't stream it anywhere. So
really?
Good luck watching it.
Sorry, suckers.
Yeah. You should watch it, but I don't know how.
This does make me want to watch Being John Malkovich.
I have that.
And Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah, this makes me want to watch everything else Spike Jonze has done.
Absolutely.
More than anything else.
I do want to check out Where the Wild Things Are. I haven't seen that yet. So yeah, we recommend Her. Thanks for listening. Pause for Room Tone.